Hello and welcome to Dubai Trains, and welcome to the updated layout. Look at that. Put in a lot of time and effort, and it's almost done. Still some gaps here and there. Don't worry, we'll go over it a little bit more meticulously in a minute. There's a lowered section here because there's going to be a car float here. The Walters kit probably. And then here we have also a little bit way for some water to come in here, fill the basin. And well, I say basin, but actually it's the Chicago River. Still some parts missing here, that's fine. I just did this. This is the last section I'm doing because it's a little bit of a notch here. I just wanted to make sure it really fits tight and neat. But you'll see that once it's done. And here we have another section. This is a bit lower than the other one because the car float is more shallow in height than the coal trestle. And if we look the other way, this is what we got now. Pretty cool. I do say so myself. At least I think it looks really cool. And from a certain angle like here, it looks like the benchwork is almost floating. And that's partially because, if you remember from a previous video, these legs are not at the edge of the benchwork, but they're indented a bit. And so is the cabinet. It's a bit shallower than the depth of the benchwork. So what does that mean? Didn't really want to talk about this, but it doesn't matter. It means that if I can put my foot here, and it's actually underneath the benchwork. And if I didn't have that, then I would be standing something like that, a bit awkward, to not hit the legs in the cabinet. Anyway, let's go to the master plan. I have some things lined up I wanted to talk to you guys today. Some things are unscripted and some things have a little bit of thought behind it, just to make sure that I'm not wasting everyone's time. I don't want to waste anyone's time. This is the master plan. Went over this in some videos, and here this brown area is where the coal trestle is going to be. So this whole brown area has to be lower than the rest. Note also there's a mainline track, almost mainline here on this north side, making a curve. So this is the lowered area. This is lowered. This is lowered. See, it's higher over here. And this is where the coal trestle is going to be. And this is not the exact location. I just put it here just to paint a picture. And it's still the same height. So this worked out really nicely. It's not done yet. Chris also made some special parts like this that fit in here, because remember the mainline track makes a bend. So we have these parts. I think there's some support that comes with it underneath, so it's all nice and sturdy to lay track on. Yeah, well, the signs here, it's all from APR Model Works. So have a look at the website if you're interested in this stuff. Chris also just did an interview on the What's Neat show, so have a look there as well. There's a lot has been discussed there, and it's quite interesting to see what happens behind the scenes. Now, I've had a little bit of delays. Someone at sick in the household, that's one thing. And I also didn't make it easy for myself. So here in this one shot, I just want to talk about a bit. You really see the versatility of the system. So we have one leg right here that's all the way on the floor. This cabinetry, it doesn't do anything. It's just there to hold all this stuff up. And then all these different legs here have different height. So you see there's a jump in the cabinet. So that means that leg in the back is a different height than this one here in the front. And there's a jump here in the layout, the benchwork. So that means again that this leg has a different height than those, and then that one. So this is all not very complex and not difficult to do, but you do need to do it. And there's a whole load of these tiny little details that are great fun to do, but they need to be done, and it all takes a little bit of time. Now, one question I got from a few people is, how are you going to do the wiring with all these cabinets and everything underneath? Well, actually, there is quite a lot of space here. I don't know how much it is, but it's probably a foot or so. So there's plenty of space to go underneath and do the wiring. And when you're sitting like this, it's actually quite convenient to put your elbow on the cabinet. So that worked out nicely. And if I have to, I can squeeze my hand in here. Don't really want to. And for the other sections, places where I have like a lot of boxes, if I have to, I can remove them to work under the layout. And frankly speaking, my old layout, I didn't have to be underneath it for years. Once everything was up and running, I didn't have to do anything with it. But what you can do, because these units were all modular, and in my case I bolted some of them together. You can see here, this one, you can just unbolt them, and then because the modules are so light, it's by yourself, you can just flip it on the side and work on the underneath side of that if you need to. And guys, don't forget to subscribe to the channel. If you're still watching, please subscribe, it really helps the channel out a lot. So let me just pan over here, because I've been running some tests. I put some of this on my posts on my channel for the people who are watching, but MDF is generally not known to like water. So what did I do? I just put some water on this test piece to see what would happen. And to be honest, I was a bit surprised. Not much happened. It's a little bit more fuzzy here where the water is, the MDF. It didn't really puff up like I expected it would. It didn't puff up at all. So that's good. I already got the primer, so I'm going to prime it anyways. I got some primer and put some water on there. Here you can see where the water was. And I just let it dry up. And it just dried, it just evaporated. Nothing happened at all. There's a little mark there, as you can see. But it's not fuzzy or anything like that. Now, like I did with the diorama, what I'm going to do is I'm going to print out the entire layout, scale 1:1, and then I'm going to glue it to the layout. And I wanted to make sure that the printer and the ink doesn't leak, because I did it with black and white and the ink doesn't like leak or doesn't run. But I want to do it with the color as well, so that's what I did here. I just glued it with some very diluted PVA glue, and that is a success. The ink is still there, it didn't move at all. And then we have one more, and this is not a test, this is just for me to put my coffee on. Yummy. One other thing, I said that the benchwork is all 60 deep, which is correct, except for this area. It's 60 from here all the way to here. And this last piece is 10 centimeters, so it's 70 deep. But I'm okay with having a little bit deeper benchwork, because my scenery is actually going to stop in this area. As you can recall from the master plan, moved here, that it's 60 up to here. So this is the brewery. It's all going to be scenic, big structure here. And these two tracks right here that fit exactly on this 10 centimeter strip is a staging. So all that's going to be way back here at the furthest end of the reach. I mean, I can still reach it easily. I mean, you know, I can still bend over and put my whole, I can reach it with my elbow. But maybe that's because I'm 6'8". All that's going to be here is 2 tracks. So I don't have any problem with having trackage and stuff at the back of the layout, as long as I don't have to touch it every day. Because although I can touch it with my elbow, I don't really want to be doing that because it's a bit of a stretch. Now, as you see, did a lot. Here is the where the car float's going to be. I got packs of cork already. I got 2 more of these guys coming. They want to put cork all over the layout, just to dampen the sound and give a little bit of soft material that I can still work with. I want to make like a cut in the land or something like that with some water. Coincidentally, these were the cheapest ones, and they're 30 by 30. And it's no joke that this was just coincidentally. And you see, with the benchwork being 60 deep, it just fits just like that. And these are all squares of 15 centimeters. So this is going to be relatively easy to install. It's 4mm cork. It was cheaper than 2mm, don't ask me why, but it was. And I'm glad I got 4mm because it's actually, it's not, 4mm is not very thick. This is probably going to be the last vlog style video of the benchwork for now. I'm going to finish it, and then the next video will be a topic-based video where I go over the entire benchwork in a more structured manner, and I go through the details with the legs and how's it work and how do you glue it together and some advantages and disadvantages. So that's going to come up next. I hope you guys enjoyed it all. Thank you very much.